Good morning and hello, everyone. I'm Brett Steele, Dean of the UCLA School of the Arts and Architecture, coming to you live this morning from the Broad Arts Center here on the UCLA campus this morning, Saturday, June 13th, 2020. As I address our incredible graduating class of 2020, I want to first speak to everyone here, not as a dean or as a member of faculty, but instead as one voice in a school of 1,000. I'd like to speak here to the extraordinary moment we all find ourselves in, nearing the middle of an already long and extraordinary and extraordinarily unpredictable 2020 year. This morning, we all mourn the death of George Floyd. His 2020 year, like his life, was brought to an abrupt, tragic, and mindless end not so many days ago. While we were all going about our lives as our academic year was finishing, his life was ended. This past week, George Floyd was laid to rest. He is the latest in a too long list of Black people who have died at the hands of police, at the hands of people whose job it is to protect and serve. Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, and so many others, and for so very long. In the past few days, their murders have snapped us all to attention once again. Their murders have forced us all, must continue to force us all to face directly and work to undo racist discrimination. We must all, me, you, our school, our campus, we must all address and work together to rectify racial injustices of the past and of the present and of the now. Many of us, myself included, are seeing anew the privileges we were born with. Dismantling systems of oppression so easily understood in relationship to privilege of all kinds must be at the core of our discussions as well as our actions, in seminar rooms and studios, in school buildings and their performance halls, galleries, workshops, and rehearsal spaces, no less than their hallways and offices and platforms. We must do this work in institutions, professions, and industries of all kinds, including most especially those industries people too easily, too casually, and too routinely call creative. This is the work ahead for all of us and our many and varied careers in lives that must somehow and together find a way to not only move, but as our graduates do here today, to move forward. So to you graduates especially, you have my commitment that we all at the School of the Arts and Architecture will amplify our own efforts to lead the way. We will all work to make a more just and with that more fundamentally durable world. As a school and a community, we are dedicated to this core mission. For a school like ours, this means attracting and retaining a more diverse faculty, staff, and student community. This means better training and supporting our community in how to be more inclusive and understanding of differences. This means guaranteeing that students can safely share their concerns, be guiding lights, and be treated seriously and with respect. This means transforming curricula to be in alignment with these values. These are all steps we will continue to take, and with a renewed urgency for the making of a more fair and just world into which all of you graduates go to today. In this first ever virtual commencement, we come together here to do what matters so much: celebrate you, this year's 2020 graduates of the UCLA School of the Arts and Architecture. I congratulate you, of course, and as do all of us here in the school, as do your friends and family and loved ones. I know this virtual event is most definitely not the way any of us might have expected to mark this great milestone in your brilliant lives. In fact, this celebration is but one of many accommodations you've all had to make over the past several months. But know this too, when we are able to do so, we will come together again, in person, once again, to do what we're going to do here today, which is celebrate each and every one of you for everything you've accomplished. As I prepared these remarks the past few days, I've been thinking and marveling at what you all have done to reach this moment, the adversities you've endured, the challenges you've overcome, the expectations you've surpassed. Despite our physical distance here this morning, and despite the extraordinary challenges of the past few months especially, the incredibly human rites and rituals and joys of this graduation endure. On a commencement day like today, there is always a mixture of emotions: relief, joy, sadness, exhilaration, trepidation, even anticipation. Undoubtedly, all of these and so many other emotions are here and now, maybe even more so this year, in an event where our shared emotions are as much what connect us as are the interfaces and devices through which these words are being shared this morning. In the past few days, in thinking about you graduates, I've been thinking about not just you, but your power, and something even greater, the power of the one to the many. Yes, there is most certainly the frightening power of a current global pandemic, a pandemic that has revealed the capacity of one infection to grow many times over and in that way display inequities otherwise too often and easily ignored. In recent days, we have also, however, witnessed the collective power of one voice joined in the street by millions of others, demanding change and accountability. Regardless of your passions or your politics, as artists and creators and makers and thinkers and organizers and scholars, you are the ones who have already connected with so many and in so many important ways. Through one artistic voice, through one creative act, giving expression to and for so many others, and so many ideas, experiences, and moments. It's in this way that this truly is your moment and this is your power. So on the last shared day together, let's remember this day this way and with this question. What better time to welcome this class of graduates into the world than this moment in 2020, when both that world and this time need you all more than ever. It's undeniable that this class of 2020 is a graduating class for the ages, and most definitely one totally unlike any other graduating class of UCLA's first 100 years. You're unique not just for having completed your studies and programs and degrees, but as well for the extraordinary urgency, tenacity, and resilience with which you've pursued your work and learning while advocating for that of so many others. For this, we applaud, we celebrate, and we honor you here today. Thank you so much. Artists and makers, designers and scholars, performers and activists, architects and organizers, each and every one of you. We know the challenges you face. We also know this: what you can do. Don't just continue to help make us all make sense of the world around us. Do continue, as is the case already, to help imagine and not only make our world a world more just for those far away and not only near, and for those many and not only one. Whatever forms each and every one of your creative lives and actions take, please, please continue to help us all. Through your gifts and talent and good fortune and determination, help us all see the world through your eyes, and so in ways none of us could have otherwise seen without you. So, and on behalf of everyone here in the school, this year especially, near and far, we all thank you and congratulate you, this year's 2020 Centennial Graduating Class of the UCLA School of the Arts and Architecture. Thank you. It's now my great honor to introduce our keynote speaker this year, someone who herself understands the power of the one to the many in the most extraordinary, meaningful, and human of ways. Yasmine Laurie is an architect, an advocate for social justice, and a champion of environmental stewardship. Yasmine joins us here in Westwood this morning from her evening, exactly 12 hours away, in her home country of Pakistan, where Yasmine has spent decades fighting for better living conditions for tens of thousands of people, whose lives have been impacted by her incredible vision, hard work, and relentless imagination. Yasmine has, for decades, engaged in humanitarian relief work in villages and cities, building homes and communities affected by floods and earthquakes with a philosophy she has sometimes called barefoot social architecture. More often than not, Yasmine has designed on behalf of those who cannot afford shoes, let alone built spaces. She has worked tirelessly on behalf of those who lack political or social power, but not needs. She builds for those individuals and often in dusty rural places, in distant villages with local and durable materials, where she uses traditional building techniques not as ideas or let alone ideals, but rather because of the opposite. They are readily available realities. Yasmine was the first female architect in Pakistan. She has battled discrimination in her home country and in her chosen profession throughout her long and accomplished career. She has also worked tirelessly to not only organize and build, but also preserve the artistic and architectural legacy of her country. Above all, she has led by example, showing architects and artists and designers that social justice not only has a place at the center of our creative worlds, but as well is something to embody in everything we do, which of course, Yasmine Laurie already does. Please join me in welcoming, live from Karachi, Pakistan, Yasmine Laurie. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Greetings from Pakistan. Congratulations to all graduates of the UCLA School of Arts and Architecture. You can be justifiably proud for having successfully accomplished the rigorous and demanding years at such a renowned institution. Congratulations also to all the parents, grandparents, families, and friends for your role in nurturing another young generation of great promise. And congratulations to the committed faculty members who have been there every step of the way. I have to say that when I received the gracious invitation from Dean Steele, I was a little surprised. I thought he was being kind because my son Mihail Laurie and son-in-law Scott Murray are so deeply connected to UCLA and the Hammer. I wondered, how could a university in the US be interested in inviting a barefoot architect such as myself, who relinquished her elite status a couple of decades ago? As I explored further, I discovered that unlike other institutions, UCLA holds a profound belief in the tenets of social justice. I'm therefore truly honored to be invited to speak at this important occasion to graduates whose spirit for social good resonates with my own struggle for social and ecological justice for marginalized sections of society. You know, this has never been more important in the world and never been more important right where you are today, especially these last few weeks. I salute the young people of America, such as yourselves, and my own grandson Shay, who's in college in California, and legions of others, regardless of the threats they face, are walking the streets of America every day, vociferously raising their voice for justice. Now, living in a third world country, for me, the pursuit for justice has been paramount. As you may be aware, I decided to push for low cost, zero carbon, zero waste through a strategy called Barefoot Social Architecture, or BARSA, for the disadvantaged. This came about as a result of my walking barefoot in empathy with those who are today my fellow travelers. Last year, I was delivering a keynote at the Vienna Biennale on the use of my barefoot model as a mechanism for healing the planet. I found that many in the audience were perplexed and asked, why barefoot? I had to respond, it is because the work I do today is with people who walk barefoot. They have no shoes. I had overlooked that in affluent countries, nobody is used to people walking without shoes. Of course, in my country, a vast number are without shoes because of lack of resources. But walking barefoot also helps you to respect the soil on which you tread. It is due to the inspiration gained from Pakistan's age-old vernacular traditions that I feel compelled to utilize the planet's resources in a judicious manner. Now, for several years now, I have watched with growing dismay the damage being caused to the Earth's ecosystem due to wasteful and highly consumptive ways of living and building. As the recommendations of the Brundtland Commission of 1987 for sustainable development continues to be ignored. Even as French economist Thomas Piketty presented irrefutable attestation of rising inequalities due to the accumulation of wealth by only 1%, I am distressed at the condition of the others, a large number of whom we know suffer from deprivations of the highest order. I watched Al Gore's undeniable evidence regarding global warming and climate change, with recurring calamities of earthquakes, floods, and tsunamis. And even as 189 countries signed the Paris Climate Agreement COP 2015, we know that the agreed 1.5 centigrade temperature rise remains elusive. I was proud when Pakistan's Nobel laureate, young Malala Yousafzai, who just graduated from Oxford, campaigned for education and not leaving girls behind. But I'm disappointed that my country and many other less developed countries or LDCs continue to have the lowest education rate for girls. And I'm desolate as women's voices continue to be muffled. In spite of the Me Too movement, and women leadership figures remain abysmally low with no hope of gender parity. I remembered Dr. Martin Luther King's dream for equality and justice, and Nelson Mandela's victory in dismantling apartheid, and Barack Obama elected twice a Black president, but distraught to realize that some people will never be as equal as others. And like the multitude of protesters in the United States and around the world, I'm heartbroken that racism thrives in the 21st century, and the vulnerable Breonna Taylors and George Floyds of the world seem forever to be targets of brutal victimization. And then there's COVID-19, a virus that knows no borders, which underscores tragedy at the fragility of human life with no assurance of safety due to your wealth or status, but has impacted minorities at such high rates in the United States. But I'm also optimistic that the realization brought about by the pandemic and the light that, as so many of you are shining on institutionalized discrimination, will lead to the fashioning of a more equitable world. As financial markets lose trillions of dollars, we know that investment directions in visual and creative arts will be forced to seek altered priorities. And we must be ready for a paradigm shift in our design conceptions as we prepare ourselves for a world that requires a major reset. This may be unsettling, as there is a great deal of comfort in opting for well-trodden avenues, but I can tell you from my own experience, nothing could be more enriching than the exploration of an unpaved vagabond pathway. Imagine what could be if you assume the lead to fashion a divergent but more egalitarian, just and humane world, and transform the present carbon-intensive environment through an inspired visual arts vocabulary which would tread lightly on the planet. Imagine if you create art and design not for just a select few. After all, it is the power of design that will be in demand, because as the levels of inequalities and poverty rise, there is a mass of humanity that needs excellence of design for their survival. Remember, it is not only the privileged who have a right to enjoy handsomely designed environments. The disadvantaged and those that live at the margins need more, not less design to achieve a better quality of life. As more studies emerge regarding the nexus between climate crisis, pandemics, and poverty, there appears an opportunity for spawning of a multitude of green strategies. As UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres articulated this recently, and I quote, by making the transition to low carbon, climate resilient growth, we can create a world that is clean, green, safe, just, and more prosperous for all. As the lockdown comes to an end, we are confronted with an entirely variant worldview that will lead architecture and urbanism, especially, into divergent directions. The question is, will architects continue to design iconic and ostentatious megastructures, Or will they veer towards democratization of architecture based on community participation, co-building, and co-creation, a new way of conceptualizing? Can the use of high energy consumptive cement and steel be minimized by creating hybrid structures? A combination of high carbon skeleton with low carbon infill and finishes, incorporating my favorite zero carbon materials, lime instead of cement, bamboo rather than wood, and lime stabilized earth and aggregate that will make cement concrete redundant. Inevitably, New York, with its highest infection rate and its high carbon, high density glittering towers, will no longer be urbanist feature beacon. Instead, as we get accustomed to carrying out business remotely, maybe eco-urbanism will take root, drawing upon age-old wisdom and traditional environments found in countries such as Pakistan. Aiming for low-rise, medium density formations with open-to-sky terraces for families to remain in contact with nature when a pandemic strikes, with pedestrian enclaves and local round-the-corner shopping without being disrupted by vehicular traffic, which should be rightly relegated to the periphery. As the need for extensive vehicular mobility is curtailed and consumption levels are reduced, in the New World Order, what if eco-cities could embody the virtues of carbon neutral environment, nature conservation and biodiversity enhancement, and conversion of existing vehicular roadways into landscaped, forested walking streets for lowering pollution levels, interventions that lead to better health and well-being of humankind. Because make no mistake, human and planetary health will now take center stage. What if creative professionals switch to more sustainable lifestyles, adopting movements such as transition design or degrowth in the West, or my own barefoot social architecture for sustenance of the disadvantaged in the third world? And this is the time that credence must be given to women designers. Their voices must be brought to the table in an effort to fashion a compassionate and humanistic world without conflict and exploitation. This is also the time for all of you here today, imaginative, creative thinkers with the capacity for enterprise and adventure to provide leadership to the world. Even as you may be dismayed by what you are, what you see, these challenging times may also present exceptional opportunities for mending the existing imbalances and stitching the highly damaged tapestry of our planet. Now, what was it that Vincent van Gogh said? I dream my painting and I paint my dream. Class of 2020, as I wish you bon voyage on your new journey, I urge you to never stop dreaming, whatever the odds. God bless you and Godspeed. Goodbye.
Yasmine, thank you so much, so much for your words, for your deeds, for your passion, for your call to action, and mostly for joining us here today and sharing your words with our graduates. Thank you, thank you. It's an immense honor, and I look forward to us being able to host you here on campus when you can do that in person, and for all of us to carry forward the work that you've been doing. I'd like now to briefly recognize members of our faculty who for the past several months especially have undertaken the Herculean task of transitioning this school to remote instruction and who have done so brilliantly. Thank you. The spirit, empathy, and resilience with which you've met these challenges has been inspiring to all of us and not just our students and graduates. I'm proud to be your colleague and collaborator, and thank you for all of the hard work. Not only your incredible efforts these past few months, but your passion throughout the year. Our faculty, as well as all of our staff, are truly the heart and soul of this school and play an immeasurable role in the success of our graduates. For all of you, thank you so much. Now, I'm pleased to present the 2020 Graduate Student Speaker for the School of the Arts and Architecture. This honor rotates every year to one of our departments in this school, and this year we have a graduate from the Department of Design Media Arts. It's my pleasure to introduce Dalina Tran.
Thank you all who are tuning in today. Thank you to our professors, faculty, and staff at the UCLA School of Arts and Architecture for giving me this moment to speak on your behalf. And congratulations to the graduating class of 2020 on your perseverance and your hard work as you made it here today. Now we are free to roam this precarious world. Let's not pretend that everything is normal. I would actually suggest that normal is a state we should actively be resisting right now. At the start of 2020, we were threatened with fears of a next world war as tensions with Iran escalated. Now, people across the US protested no war with Iran, yet the stock prices in our military industrial complex skyrocketed, reminding us that imperialism and the capital rooted in violence are at the heart of our healthy economy. And a healthy economy is what validates business as usual. When COVID-19 came, it upended our daily lives. As students of the arts, we lost access to our classrooms, our facilities, our schools, and most importantly, our sense of community. With the new White Gallery doors closed, our cohort in Design and Media Arts actually adapted the context of our MFA exhibition to the web. Many of us had alternate means of fabrication, while others completely reconsidered our projects. And the 11 of us shared our frustrations, our plans, memes, and methods of implementation with each other. What I found insightful as we struggled to put it all together were our efforts at intimacy, even in separation. While our communities adapted to new forms of proximity, we also realized we are anything but alone. If anything, we are cognizant of the same narrative because we are all living it, even if disproportionately. When rent is due and our bodies are at risk of illness or death, but also our only sources of survival, there is an urgent clamor in our chests for change. Reflecting on the body's fragility forces us to stop and really reevaluate our priorities and the system that normalizes those priorities. Time for the affluent, at least the concern of time for the affluent white class, stretches out into decades as the status quo maintains their power. The gears grinding business as usual will make Amazon's CEO the first trillionaire in just 6 years. On the other hand, for those who are neglected or systematically targeted, time shrinks to months or days. In the case of George Floyd, it was exactly 8 minutes and 46 seconds. In recent weeks, Black Lives Matter protests have demanded justice for the murders of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, and many others, and the list today continues to grow. The fight against systemic racism and police brutality were met with increased police brutality. And still, people consistently take to the streets in all 50 states. What could explain this unprecedented moment? Why now? Could it be the banality of evil seen on Officer Derek Chauvin's face, so calm while he kneeled on George Floyd's neck, ignoring his pleas for help? Could it be that we have had enough with a system that quickly deploys violence, but is reluctant when it comes to care? Black feminist poet Audre Lorde says, "Within each of us, there is some piece of humanness that knows we are not being served by the machine which orchestrates crisis after crisis and is grinding all of our futures into dust. Our interests are not being served by the systems we support." Each of us has accomplished so much to be here today, and still the future may seem uncertain. As artists, our ability to survive in our profession was always the negotiation of how much we could or should exploit our craft, our knowledge, our practices to contribute as productive members of society. And as the graduating class of 2020, these times of uncertainty are a curse, and also, yes, it is a blessing. a moment to bring considerable change around us. What better time has there been than now? And as the economy starts to open up again, to try to bring things back to normal, the question I have for all of us is, what can we do to make sure that the systems we support are serving our interests? What will we do to break down the normalcy that upholds violence, greed, and exhaustion around our bodies and our communities? How can we use the unpredictability of our artists to imagine and implement a future that cares to include everyone? Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you so much, Dalina, for your powerful, powerful words and speech. Now I'm pleased to present the 2020 undergraduate student speaker for the School of the Arts and Architecture. As with our graduate student speaker, this honor rotates each year to one of the departments in our school. This year, our speaker has been selected by the Department of World Arts and Culture's Dance. Please welcome Isabella Danienka.
Hello, I hope your day is off to a lovely start, a sweet midpoint, or a joyous end, depending on where you are. I am honored to be speaking today and even more honored to have spent the past 4 years at this university alongside each of you. Honestly, I have rewritten this speech about 4 times in the past 2 weeks, because every day there seems to be another moment that deserves our reflection and our action. On this day, as we celebrate our accomplishments in learning, I would like to talk about love. In Bell Hook's book, All About Love, she defines it as a combination of trust, commitment, care, respect, knowledge, and responsibility. She asks us to consider love as a verb, as a collection of actions. She calls on us to cultivate and maintain a love ethic, not only with our loved ones, but also politically and socially. Love, then, is a practice. This definition of love is very relevant right now, amidst the pandemic and the ongoing fight to dismantle white supremacy and systemic racism in this country. I keep hearing the term love misused, even used tactically to invalidate pain and downplay outrage. Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti, for example, issued a tweet 2 weeks ago telling us to walk in love. He said this after calling in the National Guard. He said this after proposing a budget that gives over half of our city funds to police, over community investment, housing, emergency management, cultural affairs, parks and recreation. I've seen a similar disconnect between words and actions at UCLA. In the past 4 years that I have been privileged to be a student here, I have also seen the UC administration deny AFSCME workers fair pay and healthcare year after year, deny graduate students cost of living allowances. Last week, I was horrified when a friend from the WAC department texted me to tell me that LAPD had detained protesters at, of all places, our beloved Jackie Robinson Stadium. Choices by the city, by the UC system, and by UCLA only perpetuate racially and economically oppressive systems. They are abuses of power, not acts of love. At the same time, so many individuals at this university, students, staff, professors, facility workers, lab techs, continue to act, to share knowledge, and to care for one another in ways that go far beyond their titles and job descriptions. I am thinking of the department chairs and professors who stood with graduate students this past winter, of students who walked out of class to support AFSCME workers, of my friend Anna Cho's son from the art department, who took it upon herself to organize and lead a course on art making as a way of engaging with decolonial approaches, critical race theory, and gender studies. I am so grateful to have witnessed and at times participated in these truly loving acts. I was homeschooled for much of my childhood. A lot of my early education took place around the kitchen table that I'm giving this speech from today. Learning took place with family members, with friends, with neighbors, with a lot of artists. It was based on impromptu conversations about creative problems and current events. In my personal experience, when learning is approached as an engagement in mutual growth, when education moves beyond intake and accumulation to dialogue, listening, and action, that is where love is most present. Of course, UCLA has incredible libraries, facilities, and scholars far beyond anything in this living room. But the moments where I have simply sat down to talk with many of you, friends and professors alike, are the moments I am truly most grateful for. It is through these continued relationships and conversations, especially the difficult ones, that we might be most able to disrupt and make change. We need to continue to use these relationships and the resources we have been privileged to access as tools to actively recognize and resist, uproot, and dismantle systems of inequity and oppression. Circling back to bell hooks, she says that in order to awaken to love, we have to let go of our obsession with power and domination. That we should instead make our choices with honesty, openness, and integrity. To love, we need to align our actions with our values. So, as we celebrate our graduation in the midst of what may feel like perpetual chaos, I hope that each of us takes the time to evaluate our practice of active, willful, disruptive love. Thank you and congratulations.
Isabella, thank you so much and for returning our attention and focusing on making a connection between words and action. Thank you, thank you. Each year, an undergraduate student from each of our majors in the School of the Arts and Architecture is chosen based on their academic record to serve as a Chancellors Marshal at our school's commencement ceremony. The Chancellors Marshal is an honorary designation, and our marshals normally help with the logistics of our commencement event by leading the procession of students and faculty into and out of the ceremony site. We want to take a moment here to recognize our 5 Chancellors Marshals from the class of 2020 for their distinguished scholastic achievements. From the Department of Architecture and Urban Design, Amber Zhang. From the Department of Art, Ariel Clara Steinbach. From the Department of Design Media Arts, Wamin Tina Wen. From the dance major within the Department of World Arts and Cultures Dance, Sabina Lee Schaefer. And from the World Arts and Cultures major within the Department of World Arts and Cultures Dance, Isabella Danienka. Graduates, before we disperse into our separate departmental sessions where your degree will be conferred today and where, I am sure much more celebration is in store. I want to offer my hearty congratulations and best wishes for your future endeavors. I so look forward to keeping in touch. We all do here at school as you move forward and as you move us forward into the future. I would be remiss if we did not take a moment to acknowledge and thank the parents, grandparents, brothers, sisters, spouses, partners, children, friends, all of our graduates who have worked so hard and sacrificed so much to make today possible. Thank you. From wherever you are joining us today across the city and indeed the entire world, we thank and applaud you for your support and encouragement. Thank you. Before we move on to a performance of the UCLA alma mater, I want to remind you to make sure you know where to go next. Graduates, faculty, and staff, you will stay right where you are. Family and friends who are not already watching the ceremony from your student's departmental YouTube stream, at the conclusion of the UCLA alma mater, please make sure to follow the link for your student's departmental celebration, which you can find listed on our commencement website at commencement.arts.ucla.edu. And now, please enjoy the UCLA alma mater performed this year by Angel Riley, Masters in Music candidate in voice at UCLA, class of 2020. Thank you.
Hail to the hills of Westwood, to the mighty sea below. Hail to our alma mater, she will conquer every foe, for we're loyal to the Southland, her honor will uphold. We'll gladly give our hearts to the blue and to the gold.
So everyone, this concludes part 1 of the School of the Arts and Architecture commencement ceremony. I wish you all the very best and look forward to staying in touch in the days, months, and years ahead. Thank you all so much for coming. Congratulations, graduates.
Dear WAC grads, we have a graduation tradition in our department, which I don't want you to miss. So if you'll indulge me, please close your eyes so that you can picture what I'm about to describe for you in your imagination. We're outdoors, basking in the gleaming sun in front of Perloff Hall. The students from each department in the School of the Arts and Architecture have just filed across the Perloff platform to receive their diplomas from the dean. It's a buttoned up affair, stuffy even. That is, until WAC takes its turn. Suddenly, all your WAC professors and graduate student TAs appear as if from nowhere to form a raucous receiving line just for you, congratulating you one by one. The mood is giddy and emotional. We are remembering our connections to one another. In my case, starting from WAC 1. Remember WAC 1? Now open your eyes. Congratulations, unforgettable class of 2020. We love you and wish you the very, very best. Please come back and visit us whenever you can.
Hey, you guys, I can't believe it. Here you are. And especially you guys from Dance One. I'm gonna miss you. Please stay in touch. Can't wait to see what happens next.
Hey, class of 2020. I don't know how you feel about being called the class of 2020. I mean, being the class of 2020 doesn't define you, does it? What defines you to us is the way you've acted and the way you've spoken and the way you've thought and the way you've moved and written these last 4 years. And now, I think I'll get out of the way.
Hi there. As I sit here over breakfast and I think to myself, what can I possibly say to the graduates of 2020? I'd simply say that it's a great time to think of privilege. And when I think of the privilege I've had of being a professor at UCLA, I don't think of the beautiful campus or the beautiful building of Kaufman Hall, both of which are great. I think of the students. You make my job the best job it can possibly be. Thank you so much for holding that space with me, and I wish you the very best luck in the future. Take care.
Hello, my name is Dan Fruit, Chair of UCLA's Department of World Arts and Cultures and Dance. It's my honor and privilege to welcome you to our portion of today's commencement ceremony. We're coming to you live from Kaufman Hall on the UCLA campus. The Department of World Arts and Cultures and Dance acknowledges the Gabrielino Tongva peoples as the traditional caretakers of this land. We pay our respects to ancestors, elders, relatives, and relations, past, present, and emerging. And we are grateful to be visitors in this place. Class of 2020. The building feels empty without you. Okay, well, it is empty, but you can still feel the reverberations of your activities over these past 4 years. Your artwork is on display, and your laughter, your conversations, your dancing is still reverberating throughout the classrooms, hallways, offices, and studios. We're living in a painful and hopeful time. How do we use this historic moment to tear it all down and build up something new? You've already started down that path. When you make films that unlock what the body knows about immigration, when you write papers and poems that undo the perceived primacy of Western culture, when you make theater that generates laws that actually get enacted, and when you choreograph dances that show us how to transform the deepest pain into the most abiding love, you are the change. You are holding your elders to account. In these and in other ways, you have already commenced. And now it's my privilege to welcome the esteemed opera director, MacArthur Fellow, director of the Boethius Institute, and distinguished professor of world arts and cultures, Peter Sellers.
Good morning, spectacular people. Thank you for the 4 years, the 3 years, the 2 years, the 1 year, the crucial 10 minutes that brought us together and that will take us forward together. Right now is a time of solidarity. It's a time where we need to make the connections, and thank God you're graduates of world arts and cultures, because the solutions right now in front of us are about coalition building, are about reaching across the lines. The answers are interdisciplinary. So it's really important that you are superb and brilliant crossers of lines, crossers of every line anybody can draw, you can cross it. Defiers of obstacles, invention of new languages because they're needed, and serious movers coming from a place that actually moves us. And we're asking right now, what moves us? Congratulations for graduating at the moment where millions of people are in the streets all over the world demanding a new era. You don't have to worry about a job. That's the job. You've been handed a really powerful job, which is not to do what you don't care about, but actually to spend your life doing everything you actually care about. And creating the economy, the ecology, the vibe, the zone, the atmosphere, and the collective movement to make it real. Because this is the time to get real. The previous president we had, Mr. Obama, at his State of the Union a couple of years ago said, oh, every young American should become a scientist or a mathematician. Sorry, Mr. President, wrong. We need the artists. We need the cultural workers. We need the movers to have the moral center, to have the sense of how we go from the cult of the individual to the reality of the community, the beloved community. And what it means to have the courage to face down structures that are completely wrong. And I hope you will understand whatever was impossible and horrifying at UCLA is just a tiny, tiny, tiny little crystal compared to what's next. We are going to go the hard way because there's a lot of hard stuff out there. So that means you have to keep your joy, your tenacity, your fury, and keep finding the love. Because there's a lot to do, and we have to renew ourselves and everyone around us every morning and every evening and a few times in the afternoon. Can I just say that is what I'm so grateful you're taking into the world, is the elan of the WAC department that is you. You know, your teachers are finished. Your new teacher is the virus, and the virus has a lot to say, and there's a lot to learn from the virus. because the virus is showing us that, in fact, whatever we have is what we have together. What's powerful about not having a budget to work with is that, in fact, everything in the 21st century is going to have to be shared. We are going to share everything. There's nothing anybody's going to do alone. We need to do it together with people we care about and with people we hate. And we have to care about those people, because it's only going to work if we find the spaciousness within ourselves. Deep spaciousness to recognize everyone. Because the solution is the problem. And it's not until we treat the problem with a lot of love and a lot of insight and a lot of generosity that we can move the problem. And when I say get ready to work with no budget, yes, but also get ready to demand the budget. And yes, let's reassign the money that is right now in the nightmare prison system. That is why there were budget cuts at the University of California every year, because of course we've spent a lot of time incapacitating a lot of people in your generation, and now it's time to capacitate everyone. And your capacity is breathtaking and beautiful. Please keep the beauty going. Keep the beauty going, keep the beauty going, keep the beauty going. More beauty, just more beauty, a lot more beauty, and a lot more love. And can I, well, I'm not allowed to give anybody a hug right now. It's illegal, of course, but you know, I just want to say your strength, keep it. And you know where your strength comes from. It comes from stuff deep in you, but it also, you know, look around, it comes from everyone around you. In WAC, it's famously known that the department is not the faculty, it's the students. You're going to work with the people you found here for the rest of your lives, and you can count on them and you can trust them. May I please thank the parents? Please thank the parents. Thank you for supporting an artist. Thank you for supporting an artist. Thank you for supporting an artist 100% and sacrificing and making every sacrifice to bring someone in the world who's capable of bringing beauty into the world. Thank you deeply to the parents and all the support system. And I have to say, you know, everybody thinks, oh, if only you went into economics, you would, you know, have a job forever. I'm sorry, you know, Citibank is laying off 50,000 people per month. The only job that has job security is the job of an artist, because people are going to need more beauty, more love, more creativity, and more ways of coming together and feeling their strength together. That's what World Arts and Cultures Dance actually means. And thank you for making sure it means that forever. So much love, so much congratulations. Go for it. Go for it. Go all the way and keep the justice. Keep the justice. Keep the beauty. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. And now, a call to action from world-renowned scholar, activist, theater director, actor, writer, producer, spoken word artist, founding director of the UCLA Prison Education Program, and professor of African American Studies and World Arts and Cultures, Breon Bain.
My brothers and sisters, we have to put a stop to this. And it will never be stopped until we stop it ourselves. They attacked the victim, and then the criminal who attacked the victim accuses the victim of attacking him. This is American justice. This is American democracy. And those of you who are familiar with it know that in America, democracy is hypocrisy.
Racism is a pandemic. They infected my man with it. Now he hate blackness so much, can't stand it. Goddamn with it. Can't tell a curse from a blessing when torture for your confession. When everywhere you go, you get greeted by Mr. Smith and Wesson. If not, now when? We heed the final call. Give red state, motherfuckers still trying to fuck us some blue balls. If not, now when? Will we pick up more than this pen? Even the good Lord swore to come again with the sword for evil men. If not now, when? You see him swarming every morning as the sun rises on another mother morning. Another son of God crucified on camera on the corner. Fathers crying blood out their eyes for daughters. Police slaughter, kicking the door. We've been to fall as they sleep. And once more we weep. Wailing in the water, we need to part like I see a trauma. Ring the alarm in the harm. It's time to bring the karma. If not now, when? Do we refuse to rest as the world's crowned by death? Cause we ain't got enough viral tests. But in the blink of an eye, every American city mobilizes thousands of bulletproof vests to keep killer cops safe from me. Motherfucker, can't you see? You ain't built this country half as much as all the weed fields and factories. If not now, when? Will we get sick of getting sick without ventilators or blood banks as the government snaps its fingers and soldiers flood the hood with tanks? If not now, when? Will we say enough is enough? No more waiting for them to bring us stuff. No school books, tablets, or face masks. The only thing they rush to deliver us is bullets, tasers, and tear gas. If not now, when? But we get organized, my people. Storm the synagogue of Satan. Take back the church's steeple. Are we so weak and feeble, so powerless and unequal, so willing to take the pillaging of our villages, allowing blood to flow down these mean streets we living in? Or will we get up and stand up and fight for our right to speak up in the streets? Or sleep in peace, or live without fear, or just breathe the air. When? Not now, when?
Thank you, Brian, and to your collaborators. And now, it gives me great pleasure to present to you the graduating class of the UCLA Department of World Arts and Cultures and Dance.
Hi, I just wanted to thank all my classmates, my faculty and staff at WACD, my friends, my family, and my parents. All of this would be impossible without you, and I owe everything to you. Thank you so much, and I'm so excited for what's next. Mwah.
Thank you to UCLA, to my family, my parents, all of my friends who have helped me to get here, and congratulations to the class of 2020. All my dance majors, I love you a lot. We did it. Thank you all for everything. Hi, I want to thank my beautiful and supportive family, my talented, amazing friends, and the incredible faculty at WACD, and of course, Beyonce. I love you all.
Hi, I want to give a huge thank you to everyone in my life, my family, friends, all of my classmates. You're incredible. And I just want to say thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you, Vic Marks, the faculty and staff of WACD. And I'm so excited to be here today to have this opportunity. You're all incredible. And I'm just so thankful. Thank you.
Woo! Congrats to the class of 2020. I am so thankful to have the experience to be in the department and meet some of my best friends. My college experience wouldn't have been the same without all the people I met through WACD. And of course, a huge thank you to my family and their support, because I couldn't have done this without them. Woo!
Madison Drew Mapes.
Hello, everyone. Congrats to the class of 2020. We did it. Thank you so much to the WACD faculty and all my peers for the best 4 years of my life. I love my parents and my friends, and I'm so thankful for this opportunity to go to the best school in the world. So go Bruins, and congrats again.
Lorenzo Rangel Santos.
Hey everyone, if you know me, you know I've been a huge sucker for quotes, and I just want to keep it simple. One of my favorite quotes has been just from my dad, and he always told me, "You make my heart smile." So with that being said, I would just love to thank UCLA, all the experiences, the friends I made, and love to thank my family for all making my heart smile. You all made this possible. I love each and every one of you.
Sabina Schaefer.
Hi, I just want to say thank you to my parents who have supported me unconditionally throughout my entire education, and shout out to my family who's watching and all my friends who made this the best 4 years that I could have possibly had. Thank you so much, everyone.
Derek Santienko Shaw.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that it's so surreal to me that like I'm graduating everyone here. I'm just so happy and thankful for like this class of 2020. Like we really did it, and like under the circumstances, like they were really hard and everything, but we did it, and I'm just like really thankful. I can like really remember going back to like just dance one and like meeting everyone for the first time. It was fun. It was really fun. And just the 4 years, like the good and the bad, like it was all needed. But yeah, thank you guys and everyone who was there to support.
Amanda Sun.
Hello. Hi, graduates. We did it. Oh my goodness. Wow. I'd like to thank my family right here, and especially my parents for all their love and support. I thank you. Thank you to the WACD faculty for all of your care and love these past 4 years. And thank you to my classmates, my friends, my second family. Guys, we did it. You guys have been my inspiration. And thanks for all the joys, the laughs, the tears. It's been a great 4 years, and I hope to see you guys soon. Love you all.
Melina Vasquez.
Thank you all my family that is behind me, to all the faculty members at WACD, you guys for teaching me, for investing into me, and for just helping me grow, to my mentors who have just mothered and fathered me for the past 6-7 years, to all my lovely students that have continued to be my prime inspiration every single day, best friend, and to everyone watching this right now. This diploma is not only mine, it is yours. Thank you to my peers. You guys are awesome. I will always your dance inspiration, mine all.
Stephen Isileli Tuifua Kolokia Kufisi.
Hi, everyone. I just want to give a shout out to all the first generation students of color that are making things happen in their family. Shout out to my ancestors. Congrats to all the graduates of 2020. Me and my family congratulate you all.
Isabella Danienka Deal.
Hi, I just wanted to say a special thank you to my parents and their unwavering support these past 4 years and for encouraging me to believe in myself to move across the country. I'm forever grateful. Congrats, class of 2020, and to Maria and Daniel on your high school graduation. Love you guys.
Jade Chen. Caroline DeFranco. Austin Edwards. Stephanie Hing. Fred Jagavat. Sage LaCroix. Scarlett Leon. Ilaria Lobo. Victoria Lynn Peterson. Crystal Ruelas. Kira Sakamoto. Mizuki Sako. Allison Schwartz. Sheridan Slaterback. Grace Tankersley. Rebecca Tarkovsky. Earning the degree of Bachelor of Arts in World Arts and Cultures, Isabella Child Danienka.
Hi, congratulations, everybody. Thank you. Lucia, you want to get in here? Say thank you, say congratulations.
Congratulations, class of 2020.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Riley Johnson.
I just want to say a big shout out to my family and my WAC family, with whom, without, I would not be where I am today. Cheers, you guys.
Catherine McMurtry.
Hi, everybody. I'd like to thank my family for their stalwart support throughout my education, my friends for their constant supply of laughter and joy. I love you. I just love my faculty mentor, David, for his endless grace and warmth, and the late great.
I just want to say a big shout out to my family and my WAC family, with whom, without, I would not be where I am today. Cheers, you guys.
Aaliyah Sade.
Hello!
Their stalwart support throughout my education, my friends for their constant supply of laughter and joy. I love you.
And I just want to say thank you to my ancestors and the village that raised me at UCLA and in World Arts and Cultures Department. This degree is really for my community. I love y'all so much.
Kenneth Sanchez.
Quiero agradecer a todos porque este logro es de nosotros. I just want to thank everybody because this is all our journey. So thank y'all and congratulations to everybody else.
Thank you.
Sophia Sheldon. Isella Berman. Jacob Bangar. Hannah Madeline Burnett. Taylor Corral. Ovidia Crum. Lauren Dickstein. Emma Goodfield. Mylyn Graves. Julia Green. Jack Ironstone. Kieran Kirsch-Posner. Jane Chea Shun Lee. Camille Mozanin. Sachiko Moran. Marion Mosley. Melissa Niles. Seiji Oda. America Perez. Abigail Shayagan. We are now pleased to welcome back Dean Brett Steele, who will officially confer the student degrees.
Thank you. First, to our graduate students. By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Regents of the University of California, I hereby confer upon each of you the respective master's degree for which you have been presented, with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. Congratulations. And now to our undergraduate students. By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Regents of the University of California, I confer upon each of you the bachelor's degree for which you have been presented, with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. While there is clearly nothing conventional about the form of our ceremony this year, the turning of the tassel is a centuries-long academic tradition for students earning the bachelor's degree. For those undergraduate students who have or perhaps made their own mortarboard and tassel this year, now is that moment. Starting with the tassel on the right side of the mortarboard, I ask you now to join the select company of UCLA graduates by moving your tassels to the left. Congratulations.
Thank you, Brett, and thank you to the staff who have been working tirelessly behind the scenes to create this online commencement ceremony, especially Jason Corbett and Anne-Marie Burke from the School of the Arts and Architecture, and Ginger Olguin, LaDanja Horn, Lynn Tatum, Will O'Laughlin, Mark Goebel, Arsenio Apianas, Courtney Newman, and Marcia Argolo from World Arts and Cultures and Dance. And now, it's time to party. Here's how it's going to work. In a moment, we will open 3 different Zoom sessions, one for graduate students, one for dance, and one for WAC. The links for those rooms will appear in the chat of this Zoom session and in the comments of our YouTube live stream. You're welcome to circulate between these Zoom sessions to congratulate the newly minted graduates. Class of 2020, you're graduating into a world that needs you. Thank you and congratulations.